album I'm going to talk about. So normally, as you can see, I've got lots of vinyl. Sometimes I spend a few hours just randomly kind of picking out records I've listened to and finding stuff that I've not listened to in a long time. And this is one of them. Picked it up and forgot how good this album is. And before their hits, the band I'm talking about is Simple Minds, by the way, but before their hits, I think a lot of their stuff got kind of forgot about, but actually it's really good stuff and really kind of forward thinking. The album I'm talking about is Simple Minds, Empires and Dance. Now, this is the third studio album from Simple Minds, released on the 12th of September 1980 through Arista Records. They were initially signed to Arista. The album itself was influenced by the experience of travelling through Europe. But prior to the album, the band demoed several of the new songs, including Capital City and I Travel. Oh, good track, by the way, we're going to talk about that in a second. That had appeared on that tour. Room was first recorded as a John Peel session in December 1979, together with 3 songs from Reel to Reel. I can never pronounce it, but anyway, the second album. These recordings were all later released as part of the 2004 box set, Silver Box, which I do have, and there's some great kind of demos on there. But when it was first released, it was only priced at $3.99, equivalent to £22 in 2023 or 2025. It's got 2023 here, so it was obviously written a long time ago. While more successful than the previous, it was still a relative flop. I think it just entered the UK charts at number 41 and it just fell straight back out again. The opening track on this, I mean, if you don't know, the opening track on this is Where Have You Been, is a track called I Travel. And I remember hearing this for the first time, like, I think I was like 11 years old. And it was just totally blew my mind. The rhythm is, you have to listen to it to understand it as a producer, where, you're very kind of methodical in like putting your beats together. This just seemed to be all offbeat, but it worked. Like the melodies were great, and it reminded me of like a more cooler version of I Feel Love. So if you don't know this track, you need to go and check it out. I Travel, to me, it's the best track from Simple Minds. So it was released as a single in October 1980 to coincide with the UK tour. It was backed with the track New Warm Skin, recorded during the album sessions, and the initial release also included a flexi disc, which I do have the original Arista 12-inch, but it got put out again later on, but I could never find the flexi disc. And I was going to have a look on Discogs, see how much it was going for, but I just couldn't find it. But the initial 12-inch for I Travel came out with a flexi disc. If you have it, let me know. I want to know what's on it. What does it sound like? But the single failed to reach the UK chart. The track, however, gained popularity in the American club scene. Subsequently, it entered the Billboard Disco chart at number 80 in February 1981. So even though they hit number 80, I mean, to hit the US Billboard, to hit number 80, you're selling copies, believe it or not. So Celebrate was chosen as the second single, which I don't really remember. But the B-side is the track that I remember, Changeling. If you don't know that, you need to check that. That was from the previous album. I may do a video on the previous album. But following the release of the album, Simple Minds transferred to Virgin. Now, this version I've got is Virgin. It's a Virgin release. It's not the original Arista version, if I bring it out. So it's got the Virgin kind of labels. I couldn't find anywhere, did they reissue? They must have reissued because it's on Virgin. So I think what happened, they obviously got the catalogue back from Simple Minds or from Arista and just released this. So they've got the albums and everything like that. But the original was on Arista, but they did transfer to Virgin. Well, they met with much greater commercial success. Arista tried to capitalise on this success by re-releasing I Travel as a single in 1982. Because 1982, remember, they had things like Waterfront, Don't You Forget About Me. So they were having big tracks at that particular time, around about that time. And also they released a compilation called Celebration, which I also have, which is on Arista, and some really good tracks on there, really good compilation of tracks. It's not just their usual hits, it's stuff from the first 2 albums, the great tracks on there. So that is a really good compilation. If you don't know that, go and get that compilation. To me, that is Simple Minds at the best. In 1983, Virgin re-released I Travel on 12-inch to coincide with the acquisition of the band's Arista catalogue. Both times it still failed. So they must have bought this when they got the rest of the Arista catalogue and re-released it again. which is a shame. I'm really surprised it didn't kind of do well. I reckon if they did it now, it would do really well. So please release that again. And then something else I want to talk about, which to me is kind of very European, is the typography on here, where they've got the reversed R's and the reversed N's. A lot of bands were influenced by this. Now it is Latin text. There is a word for it, and I can't pronounce it, and I'm not going to pronounce it in case I get it wrong and I get harangued on here. But usually this kind of text with the reversed R's and N's usually invokes like Soviet Union or Russia or European, very European. So they did use this on a couple of their sleeves. This kind of text is very European. Manic Street Preachers were heavily influenced by this, and I know they have spoke about how they were influenced by this album, the text and the artwork itself. But the band at that particular time when they released this was Charlie Burchill. I mean, he was such an important cog in the wheel when it came to Simple Minds. Derek Forbes on bass guitar, fretless bass guitar. And you had Jim Kerr on vocals. I mean, what an incredible vocalist. I mean, you know, what a great stage presence as well. I remember seeing him on a really show, must have been like maybe 11, 12, really early 80s. And he was all in white with his eye makeup on, and you know, his stage presence was just incredible. I think it might have been I Travel. You had Brian McGee on drums, you had Mick McNeil on keyboards. So the two singles released from this was I Travel on the 7th of October 1980, followed by Celebrate, released February 1981. To me, this is a great period for Simple Minds, and obviously they followed this with, you had Sparkle in the Rain coming, which is an incredible album, which I'll definitely do a video on that, and that must be coming up for a kind of anniversary edition. But if you can find this album, I've been looking for the original Arista. Get it. If not, get this kind of reissue one. Sonically, it sounds great. Definitely listen to I Travel. You've got things like I Travel, Celebrate, The Fear of Gods, Capital City. You know, even the track titles sound very kind of like European, very Kraftwerky. The image of the back to me is very kind of new wave, without a doubt. It's definitely a new wave album. So you've got the picture of the bands. You've got the name of the band, what they played. Again, you've got all the reversed R's and N's, giving that kind of European, kind of Russian, kind of, Soviet Union kind of feel to it. And it's great. I just absolutely love it. And it's a brilliant album. I'm so glad I pulled this out by random. And I've been listening to it again and again. So if you don't know this album, forget about their big hits. Go and check out this third album by Simple Minds, Empires and Dance, and it's a classic album, classic Jim Kerr vocals, and they really fuse together kind of, your guitars and your drums with synths, especially on I Travel. But listen to the rhythm of I Travel, and it really kind of puts you out of sorts, but it works. So there you go, Simple Minds, Empires and Dance. Check it out. Great album. Thank you very much.